Hi, everybody. Well, thanks very much for showing up. I'm Danny King. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Accredible. And in a nutshell, what we do is we help organizations to issue certificates, but digitally. So instead of sending somebody a piece of paper or maybe a PDF, we let you have a URL. And that URL is your certificate. And you can share that much more easily. It's way harder to lose. And you can verify it very quickly. So I'll walk you through what we do. So our mission is to digitize and host the world's credentials. We work with lots and lots of organizations. I'll talk about a few of them that we work with already. And we're basically building this database of human capital. And we do that by working with universities and technology companies and associations and make it easier and faster for them to issue certificates in a more secure way. And in parallel, we're building up this database. And the idea is to connect people with job opportunities in the future once we have a large enough data set. So, let me back up and sort of explain why I started a company with my co-founder Alan in credentialing. This is a slightly niche place to do it, and really it boiled down to it's kind of crazy that certificates are by and large still pieces of paper. Some universities still call them a sheepskin. Really, all they are is a name and a grade on a piece of paper, and maybe some fancy swirly borders, and maybe a shiny sort of watermark, and that's it. And yet, we use these to determine so many of the things in our lives. You know, the jobs that we apply for, the universities we can go to. And it just seems crazy that, this is one of the last things in the world to not go digital. So these are some of the things. This is my paper degree certificate here. It's somewhere under my bed, I think. It used to be that you would put your certificate on the wall, and I know lots of lawyers and accountants and so on that still do this. But unless you have people coming physically to you to sit down in your office, it's quite rare that people will ever see your credentials. So that may or may not matter depending on your profession. But I think the modern wall is not here. It's on LinkedIn, or it's on your Twitter feed, or wherever it is that you sort of communicate with people, and wherever you find your clients and your customers. So paper certificates they're slow, they're insecure, they're easy to forge, they're frustrating. If you lose it, you have to call the university, and they send you another one for like $25 in 2 weeks. And they just don't do a great job. I think crucially, they just really suck at communicating who I am and what I can do. A great example is my co-founder Alan and I. We both went to the same university, did the same course. We have the same piece of paper. We actually got the same grade. But we're very different. He's the CTO and I'm the CEO for a very good reason. We have very different skill sets. Our credentials would never really show that. So we decided to innovate and create a new type of certificate which was available online. You could verify it much more easily. You can't lose them. They automatically expire. It's very hard to lie about what your credentials are, and so on. And really, it boils down to just bringing something into the digital age, which really should have been about 10 years ago. So this is the status quo. You've got paper credentials. You also, some organizations have been issuing PDF certificates for a long, long time. We're also seeing the rise of digital badging, which is a pretty interesting ecosystem, not one that we fully support and engage with. And we basically see ourselves as the sort of highest stakes version of digital badging. So digital badging, just to put it simply, is an open standard created by Mozilla that allows any organization to say someone has done something, put simply. So we are basically that, but for the high stakes credential, the degree, or the association membership, or something that you would traditionally want to show to a stakeholder like an employer. These are some of the organizations that we issue certificates for. We've issued over 500,000 certificates to date. As you can see, we've got a mixture of universities, some offline, some online, big technology companies, associations, online courses. Really, our customers are any organization that issues certificates. So what are we trying to do? My thesis for what a credential should be boils down to these 5 things. As I said before, your credentials don't really do you justice. And if I were to sort of stop and say, hey, what should a certificate be in the 21st century, in the information age, I don't think it would be a piece of paper with a name and a grade on it. So here are the things that we think that in the future credentials should evolve into. So first of all, they should be scalable. It shouldn't matter if there were 500 people in a traditional university course or 500,000 doing an online course. It shouldn't matter the number of people that are on your course as to how credible that course is. And right now, because we need to physically sit you down and examine you, that is the bottleneck in terms of determining your credibility. And so online courses is much harder for Udacity or Coursera or whoever to say, OK, we can vouch for these people with confidence. So that's an issue. Second of all, they should be flexible. There are many different types of learners who are interested in many different things. And a good example is I got a B in my sort of equivalent of AP Math back in the UK. It's called an A-level. But I was really, really fascinated in this one area of math and kind of sucked in this other area of math, right? And the average turned out to be a B. But for the jobs that use this area of math, maybe I'm actually a much better candidate than a B sort of justifies. And so I think that we should have a much more comprehensive view into what people are and what you can actually do, and stop summarizing people down into a GPA or a grade. We've got so much more information at our fingertips, and we just hemorrhage that. When you graduate college, you turn 4 years of information into a piece of paper. They should be ongoing. It's kind of crazy that my computer science degree was a snapshot of my ability at one point in my life, and then that was it. And that's what I use for the next 15 years to show that I have this capability. I can code, I can think about systems, and so on. They should be ongoing, especially in fields like computer science, where you've got to keep learning to show that you're current. They should be comprehensive. College is an example of this, but I learned a lot of stuff outside of my degree, which is not reflected in my degree certificate, all the extracurricular activities and all the learning that goes on. So ideally, you should have a comprehensive snapshot of who you are and what you can do. And finally, they should be aspirational. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure we're all fairly well-credentialed. Most of us have probably been to university, and we've probably achieved a few great things. And I don't know if you can remember before the exam, before that examination that you did, I bet you were really scared. Even if you were really confident about, the course content, it was probably a scary thing that you weren't sure if you would be represented well. So what I want to do is make it so that a credential is something that isn't a scary light at the end of the tunnel, but is something that you actually build up over time. Maybe start with a credential from the first day of your course, and you grow into the actual grade that you have, instead of being knocked down from an A to the grade that you should be. So I'm just going to zip through it. So basically, recipients get a digital certificate. It looks like this. You can have evidence portfolios at the bottom, which show who you are and what you can do. You can attach things like videos of you speaking Spanish onto your Rosetta Stone certificate, or code samples onto your Udacity Learn to Code. Or if you're engaged in the course forums, you can show that I was helpful and engaged, and I have all these social skills. You can print them, you can put them on your wall, they don't have to be digital. You can also export them as digital badges and so on. We also let you put it on the blockchain, and we're quite agnostic about how you represent them. For the issuers, we make it really, really easy to create these things. You can log into our system, you design your certificate, takes a couple minutes, upload a spreadsheet, hit send, and you're done. You can track how and where they're being used, which is very powerful for marketing. People who share their credentials on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and so on, in a moment of pride, their friends can see the courses they're doing, click on the certificate, and click through to find out more about your course. And that's an amazing sort of referral marketing kind of campaign. Also, just having control of your certificates. We sometimes call this the heart attack avoidance feature. You can log in and edit your certificates even after you sent them. So if you spelled certificate wrong, no big deal. Or if somebody needs to be revoked or expired, then I need to stop. So I'm just going to wrap up here. So we're basically a certificate management system. We make it very, very easy to issue digital certificates, monitor how they're used, and edit them on the fly. So we also allow you to verify them with quick verification directories. Saving significant amounts of time and money. You can save about 90% on what you're doing if it's over paper. Thank you very much for your time. If you'd like to try it out, just go online. If you'd like to talk to me, ask me anything. This is my email address. If you'd like to talk to my support team, they're there to help. Thank you.